Wow, I didn't know I could do that. Welcome to Murfreesboro Storytellers. Our special guest this month is Bill Taylor of Bill Taylor's Bushido School of Karate. Stay tuned. Welcome to Murfreesboro Storytellers. Today we're located on Broad Street in Murfreesboro at Bill Taylor's Bushido School of Karate. Bill, welcome to Murfreesboro Storytellers.
Well, thank you for having me, John. I'm excited about being here.
Tell me about your operation. How did you get into this business?
Well, I started taking karate personally in about 1973, and it was at the Bushido School of Karate. I trained originally under Mr. Newton Harris, and after just a couple of years that I'd been training there, sold the school to Bill Herzer. Mr. Herzer is my instructor, my sensei. I got my black belt from Bill Herzer in 1978. And the Bushido School of Karate in 1973 was located right where the NHC building is located now. There was the Bushido School of Karate, the music shop, and there was a little block there.
Downtown Murfreesboro.
Yes, sir. It was back in the early 70s and trained there. I was 11 when I started taking karate, and it was something that I wanted to get involved in. I was small of stature, wanted to be able to defend myself
Sure.
if the need ever arose. And after I got involved in it, I kind of fell in love with it because it is an activity that you can kind of compete with yourself. It's not a team sport. Some people like that. I kind of like the individuality of martial arts. And I started doing amateur point tournaments as a child, and then at about 18 started professional kickboxing and did that for 8 years. And when I hung that up in about 1988, I kind of started taking that energy and putting more of it into the running of the school and running it on a professional level. And we have now opened 2 locations here in Murfreesboro, and I've just been blessed by the Murfreesboro community and love what I do.
Bushido School of Karate. Are there other schools of karate, other types of karate?
There are basically 4 main styles of karate in Japan. And when I say main,
and all this originates in Japan, right?
Karate originated in Japan. Right. Sometimes people get confused. You have martial arts.
Okay.
And martial arts could be kung fu, taekwondo, aikido, jiu-jitsu, karate. It's martial means warlike. Martial art is a warlike art. Karate is specific to Japan. Literally, the word karate means empty hand, and it's a martial art that originated out of Japan.
Oh, that you have no weapon other than your hands, is that
we do practice weaponry, but the core word and the core beginnings of karate were unarmed defense. Now, you see a lot of nunchuck, bow staff, and some weaponry that's been
now help
added
me there,
to it.
Those terms.
The nunchucks are the 2 wooden sticks that you swing around.
All right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Bow staff is just a long wooden staff that you learn to defend yourself with. And we do that for when a student has been training for a little while, it's a new challenge for them to learn not only kicking and punching, but also how to utilize a weapon.
Not only a means of defense, but it also is a conditioning program, isn't it?
It is. We say for adults that come into our school are primarily interested in 2 things. They're interested in physical fitness and self-defense. So what we often say is that the good thing about karate for an adult is that you're going to get hard-hitting, simple, effective self-defense techniques while you're getting in the best shape of your life. So it works hand in hand. You're getting in shape, your cardiovascular endurance improves, flexibility, strength. But unlike other sports that are great to get you in shape, while you're getting in shape through martial arts, you're learning how to defend yourself.
So there's a double reason for it.
Double value. Yes,
double
sir.
value. You have classes here for young and old alike, I presume?
We do. We're here.
Men and women?
We're men and women. We're about 40% female. We have classes from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. We're full-time. We're here all day. Our youngest student is 3, and our oldest student is in her 80s, and we run the gambit between those 2 extremes. A 3-year-old, we have a kinder karate program where it's for kids that are not in 1st grade yet. 3, 4, and 5-year-old. And John, it's amazing what these young kids can do. They're going to learn how to kick, punch, run their katas, their memorized forms. But primarily our goal with the 3, 4, or 5-year-old is to work on his focus, self-control, listening skills. And what we find is that it's an activity they're excited about. They love doing karate because of the Power Rangers and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But we kind of, while they're having fun and doing that, we're really working on that yes sir, no sir skills, being able to stand still and have good self-control while they're being addressed to by an adult. So we have the young kids. We have a lot of kids that are what we call juniors, from 7 to about 12 or 13. That's probably the core age group of both of our schools. And then, you know, from 14 to, like I said, upwards to 80, it would be our adult program.
Well, there's hope for me then.
Oh, yeah, we're saving you a spot.
All right. What would a typical course be like? What is the period that it runs? Months, weeks?
People come in with different goals.
All right.
People generally come in and they'll sign up on a program. We don't have any long-term agreements. You just you pay as long as you want to go.
Okay.
Generally, people will come in, and when they enroll, they're probably with us an average of about a year.
All right.
Probably 25 to 30% of our students that enroll go all the way to black belt.
Explain black belt and what is the significance of that?
Black belt is a minimum of about a 3-year study of martial arts. Probably more realistically, more like 3.5 years. It depends on the individual. You can't look at someone and say it takes 3.5 years to get a black belt. It depends on their physical abilities and what effort they put into the journey. But generally, you're looking at about 3.5 to 4 years. Black belt, a black belt coming from a legitimate martial arts system should be very adept at being able to defend themselves one-on-one against one attacker. It doesn't mean you know everything. It's not mastership of any martial art that's a legitimate martial art. A good way to look at it, it's like if you're going to build a house, the first thing you need to do is lay that good firm foundation. Well, that's like a first-degree black belt. You've got your basics down. You've got a good handle on the skills that are required to be able to defend yourself and develop beyond that. In our style, there are 8 degrees of black belt. So after 3.5, 4 years of study, and you've earned your first-degree black belt, there's a lot more to learn, and there's a further journey to take.
Are there other belts as well as different levels in black belt?
There are. Our style is Wado-Ryu.
Okay.
A lot of people think our style is Bushido, but Bushido is just a code of honor that the warrior or the samurai used in feudal Japan. It was an honor that said, among other things, they would only use their martial arts skills when absolutely necessary. Our actual style is Wado-Ryu, one of the 4 main styles out of Japan. And our belt system for kids or adults, you start with a white belt, and then it goes gold, orange, blue, purple, green, brown, and then black.
Wow, so black is the ultimate then.
Black is the culmination of the understanding of the basics of the system.
And then different levels in the black belt.
Yes, sir, you keep going.
All of this originated in Japan. This goes back for many, many years, I presume, as far as karate is concerned.
It did. The birthplace of karate is really Okinawa. It really gets kind of confusing. There was an art in Okinawa called Tode, T-O-D-E, which means the hand way, defending yourself with your unarmed body. And Japan brought in some of these Okinawan masters back in the 1800s. And in Japan, they had studied jiu-jitsu, which a lot of people are familiar with now because of MMA and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And they studied Aikido, which is sword. But they really didn't have a lot of hand-to-hand combat, as we say. When these Okinawan masters came into Japan, a lot of the Japanese liked it. They said, hey, we're going to incorporate this into our martial arts. But they wanted it to have a Japanese name, so they called it karate. Empty hand, so karate. Okay. So if you really go back far enough, I mean, you could even go back further to China, because it's believed that the Okinawan island chain got a lot of its martial arts skills from people leaving China and coming to Okinawa to train. So it's a very intriguing history to study.
Now, is karate and jiu-jitsu, are they different? Are they different variations?
They are. Jiu-jitsu was developed during the time of the samurai. And it's really interesting, John. Jiu-jitsu was developed to defend yourself against someone with a sword when you didn't have a sword.
Oh, okay.
So jiu-jitsu uses a lot of angular movement because you can't block a sword, right? If someone's coming with a samurai sword, I can't do a traditional block. I'm going to
lose an arm or whatever.
So there's a lot of evasive movements.
Okay.
And eventually it developed into a grappling style where a lot of jiu-jitsu is done on the ground using pressure points. arm bars and things like that. So it's a system of defending yourself when you're very close to your attacker. Where karate is usually thought of as a longer range punching or kicking distance.
Okay.
So you're further away. But what anybody knows that knows anything about martial arts is if you get into an actual self-defense confrontation, you're very likely to be thrown to the ground. And you need to know what to do when you're on the ground. So a system that augments both jiu-jitsu and karate, even wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling, is what we would call a complete system.
I assume you've visited Japan and learning and developing your program?
Yes, I did. I visited Japan in 1996, and I trained Master Utsuka, the gentleman's picture behind us.
Oh, yes, okay, I wondered about him.
He's the Grand Master. He's the original originator of Wado-Ryu Karate. I actually trained with him in 1975. He passed away in 1982, and his son is now the Grand Master of Wado-Ryu, and I was able to train with him in Japan, Tokyo, in 1996. So that was quite an honor.
So you travel quite a bit around the world, do you not, in your program?
I do. In the 80s, I traveled competing in full contact kickboxing. I was lucky enough to get a world ranking, and I competed in France. Fought over there. My last fight in 1988 was in France, and traveled with other fighters to Amsterdam and all over the world. Now, a little older, and I don't compete with those young 20-year-old guys in the ring, but now I get travel all over the world teaching people how to run professional karate schools. I just got back from London. Last month I was in London, England, and did some seminars on running professional schools. Was in Australia a couple of years ago. So it really works out great. I love to travel, and even though I'm not competing, I still get to do that.
You mentioned earlier about the yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, I see on the wall.
Right.
Tell me about that aspect of this. I had no idea.
That's what we call the 7 magic rules of respect. Yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, please, thank you, you're welcome. And our kids need to memorize that. If we have 20 kids come in for a pizza party, if they want to break a board, they have to repeat the 7 magic words of respect to me. And it's pretty easy. If he's 3 years old, we'll help him. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, please, thank you, you're welcome. And I started teaching professionally, John, 35 years ago. I was 14. And back then, kids, they said yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no. It was just, we didn't really have to think about it.
It was natural.
It was old school, right?
Correct.
And what we found, a lot of parents don't require that anymore, but instead of lowering the bar, I still require it. And you know why I require it? Because I know that when they're 15, 16, 17 years old and they're out looking for a part-time job, yes sir, no sir helps.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, if I've got a young man asking to mow my yard, the yes sir, no sir goes a long way in me letting him do that job for me.
Sure.
So we look at it as a life skill, and our motto here at the karate school, whether it's somebody throwing a punch at me and I need to know how to block it and counter, that's a life skill, right? And I've had a lot of punches thrown at me, so I don't need to think about it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, yes sir, no sir is the same thing. If we can train these young people to where they do that without having to think about it, we say that that's a life skill they've turned into a habit.
Oh, that's wonderful. Tell me about the outfit you have on.
That's a gi. It's
Spell that.
G-I.
G-I, okay.
Gi, it's a gi. It, you know, when most people do karate, you wear a gi because it allows a wide range of motion.
Okay.
Yes, if you ever have to defend yourself, you're probably going to have street clothes on. And sometimes we do classes not only with our street clothes on, but we'll go outside in the parking lot. And we'll bring the people out with street clothes, and we'll practice moving around and punching, blocking with cars behind you, so it's more realistic. But initially, in order to avoid injury, you want to have a wide range of motion. So a gi is usually loose, allows you to move around quite a bit. And we start out working out barefooted because and again, in a self-defense situation, you're probably going to have shoes on, but when you're learning how to kick, by kicking barefoot, it takes some of the stress off the knee because you take that weight off your foot. So you learn how to kick correctly, and then, of course, you would also want to practice kicking with shoes on if you ever had to defend yourself.
A lot to it then.
There's a lot to it. It's your martial arts has been around for thousands of years, and now we're getting into an age where a lot of different martial arts. Back in the day, a lot of martial artists, whatever their art was, they thought that was all you needed to know.
Okay.
Even boxing, you know, professional boxer, they're pretty adept at being able to defend themselves. They've been banged around. They know what it's like to take a punch and know what it's like to give a punch. But a lot of them, if you threw them to the ground, like a fish out of water, right?
Didn't know what to do.
Right. Now, most professional karate schools borrow. They're thinking eclectically. They want to make sure that they're comfortable with all the different ranges, kicking, punching, somebody right in your face, and being thrown to the ground. So we've kind of, martial arts industry has grown up and, you know, collectively borrowing from different systems to be complete.
Tell me about the array of pictures I see over in your other room here from where we are.
We've got a lot of celebrity pictures.
Okay.
We had a dinner with, we did a fundraiser for Kick Drugs Out of America. And Chuck Norris was he originated that program. So we got to go to dinner with him. Got to meet Chuck Norris. Roy Jones, I bought some gloves that Roy Jones had autographed, and I knew his manager, and he got an autographed picture from Roy Jones.
You mentioned gloves. Do you use gloves in karate at all?
You do. Two types of gloves. In a regular class, we use foam gloves.
Okay.
And that's just to prevent injury when you're sparring in case you have an accident.
Okay.
In a class setting for a regular student, we're not fighting full contact, but you know, accidents happen, and you want to have that foam padding.
Okay.
In kickboxing, you wear just a regular boxer's glove, an 8-ounce boxer's glove, because you're striking with full force.
Okay. Wonderful. Mention your travels around the world. You have somewhat of an international family too, do you not?
Well, my parents travel as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
they do.
Tell us more about the photographs and a lot of the other personalities you have honored there.
Well, we've got Benny Urquidez, Bill Wallace. Martial arts people would recognize these names. I got to fight Bill Wallace in an exhibition match. I fought Don Wilson, who's gone on to be a star.
Okay.
So we got a lot of Let's Get Ready to Rumble. That gentleman from Showtime. We've met him at a fight. So we've got a lot of pictures. And not only do my a little slow in the uptake here. My parents travel a lot, but my son is from Guatemala. Diego is adopted from Guatemala. He's 8 years old. And then my second son, Gabe, he was an international adoption. He's from Texas. So
oh my goodness,
I got a lot of.
The basis of my earlier question.
Yeah, a little slow there.
Bill, what about the future of Bill Taylor School?
Well, we're just hoping to continue growing. The way we look at it, in 1970, we had about 25 students. They were hardcore students, tough guys. There weren't a lot of kids taking karate then, but someone that came into the school in the early 1970s that needed self-esteem, needed some confidence, needed those type things, they kind of got beat out of the school because it was so hardcore. Okay. Now we're teaching in a more professional way, and we're able to help more people because we've grown. We still have programs that are designed for people that really want to bang, as we say, and get into the tough physical aspects, but it's not required, and we've grown. And we're hoping to continue to do that. We'd like to be able to continue to affect people in the Murfreesboro community, to help, a kid that doesn't have any self-esteem and is getting bullied, we can help that kid. A kid that needs to be reined in a little bit because he's a little wild and doesn't have any self-restraint, we can help that kid. An adult that's overweight and wants to ease into a training program to get in better shape, we can help that adult. And I think as long as we continue doing things in a professional way, we're going to be able to continue to help people in Murfreesboro.
That's wonderful. Helping all ages, it's very fascinating. Why don't we let you give us a demonstration?
Okay.
And we'll see just exactly what you do and how you do it.
Okay, we can do that.
All right. All right, still at Bill Taylor's Bushido School of Karate. We've come out of our chairs, we're standing, and Bill, we talked about what you do here.
Right.
How about showing us what you do?
Right.
Give us some moves.
Well, I thought maybe something that's relatively easy to do would be to deal with a man. When a man attacks another man, John, he's going to do one of two things, usually. Okay. Very seldom in a self-defense situation with a man attacking a man is he going to sit back and start looking like a boxer. Usually there are words exchanged, the chest starts sticking out, and a man will ball his fist up and throw
Okay.
what's called a haymaker
right
hand to the head. 9 out of 10 times it is a right hand, okay? The other thing you're often able to see is what's called a level shift, where maybe words are exchanged and the other person will just drop his weight and come in for a tackle, okay? And a lot of times punches will be exchanged. One of the fighters decides he doesn't like that, then he tackles, so it might be both. But that haymaker right hand is a very common attack, man against man. So we thought we might show some ways to deal with that. We're not going to use a traditional karate block. We're not going to do the intuitive thing, which is to pull away from it. And if Marcus can help me, I'll kind of show you why. First, if you're in a situation where somebody's getting in your face, so to speak, words are exchanged, what we suggest is to not go back and start acting like you're going to knock the fire out of him, because that has a tendency to escalate the situation. But if Marcus were giving me trouble, I do want to have one foot back, and I'm going to bring my hands up. I can talk to him. I can protect myself with my hands up. I can strike with my fingertips or my heel hand. So I'm in a stance, but I'm not back here giving away what I'm going to do. Another thing you can do, John, is if you're in a public setting, you can create witnesses. If Marcus is trying to push this situation, hey, buddy, look, I don't want any trouble. I don't want to fight you. Back up. And if he decides to take a shot, it's pretty evident that he started the encounter. Okay? If Marcus threw that right hand at me, if I just pull away, I might get clipped right on the end of it. Second, and that's what's more natural to do. If I pull away and he just keeps coming at me, well, I still got to deal with him. Okay? So what's counterintuitive is to move into the blow. Okay? Now remember, this is not a sharp boxer's jab or a cross or an uppercut. It's that haymaker right. And when he throws that shot, I'm going to step in, stop the attack. I'm actually attacking his bicep to frog it or to hurt it. And then after I've stopped the shot, I'm going to strike, strike, strike. And that just flows. It's a short shot to the neck, a heel hand strike to the side of the face, and another heel hand strike right to the tip of the chin.
Go through that once more time.
I will. I've also got to be cognizant of that left hand. In self-defense situations, most people don't chain punches together like a fighter. They 1, 2, but maybe he is a fighter. So he throws that right hand. If he throws that left hand, boom, I do what's called a source block. So I've got to be aware of that. Most people won't come back with that left hand. So after I stop the punch, my right hand, the close one, pops. It's not going to be a real powerful shot because I'm so close. But I'm going to pop into the neck. This one's going to have a little heat on it because I'm going to rotate my body, wham, right into the side of the head. My left hand is struck to the side of the jaw. My right hand now lifts into the chin. And that's a mean one right there because it's right into the chin. So it's thank you, Marcus. I'm going to stop, strike, strike, strike. Now we're going to let Marcus throw the punch at you. Okay?
All right.
All right. So what you'll do, John, what Marcus is going to be the bad guy. What the bad guy will do, what you want to train yourself to look for, we call it opening his chest. Okay? And if he does what's called a level change, he's probably going to tackle. If he pulls that right shoulder back, punch is coming. Okay? So you're exchanging words, and he pulls that shoulder back. Okay? You've already got your hands up because remember you're trying to talk this crazy guy to leave you alone. Okay? And when he opens that chest and he's about to bring that punch, you'll step in with your left foot and you're going to hit with both hands, just to stop that punch. Then you'll take the right hand, old karate chop, right into the neck, roll straight in with a heel hand strike, and the one I was showing you a minute ago, right into the chin. Good. So we'll try it again. You'll go after you stop Marcus's punch. 1, 2, 3, 4. About that fast. 1, 2, 3. This one will drop. Now you're going to lift his head up. Boom! That's a mean shot. In karate, we call that shote. It means heel hand. And the reason I like it, after fighting for 8 years, it's real natural for me to go back and throw punches.
I'm sure.
But that's a lot of stress on the, I think, 25 little bones in your hand. And if you can pull the hand back and just strike with the heel of the hand, it takes a lot of those bones out of the equation. Okay? and I'm going to show you how hard that shot can hit, okay? If, John, if you can put that left foot out front, kind of bring your hands up like you're telling me, hey, back up, buddy, I don't want any trouble.
Okay.
And if you'll strike with the heel of your hand right into the pad, good. And I'm holding the pad straight out. Actually, it would be a rising strike, but it's kind of hard to do because you're so much taller than me. Yeah, but if you'll smack it one more time, good. Now, with an inch of wood, we're going to do the same thing.
Okay.
An inch of wood has about the same resistance capacity of a human rib. So I could tell you two things. One, if you can break this, you could break a human rib. But nobody's ever going to hold a human rib out. It's not quite that easy. Second, if you could break an inch of wood, if you took that power and put it in the tip of my chin, that's probably going to stun me enough for you to be able to get away. Because if you've ever been hit right in the tip of the chin, it drives that jawbone back into these nerve ganglion, and it can hurt. It's, you know, the old phrase, see stars, you're going to see stars. So let's do the same thing. Just come on and hit it just like you did the pad. Just come on through with it. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Good shot. Way to go, man. All right. Awesome.
This is wonderful, Bill. My word. Yeah, I can just imagine how fun this is to learn.
It is. It's, like I was saying, it's something that's fun. And if it's a kid, he's having fun, but he's also learning those life skills that we're trying to turn into habits.
Good. Well, Bill, we have about a minute left. Any final thoughts you have as we conclude the program today?
I want to thank you for inviting me to be on the show, John. It's, you've done so much for the Murfreesboro community, and with the Exchange Club and all those things that you do for Murfreesboro. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your service to the Murfreesboro community. And I want to thank Michael Nevels for also inviting me to be on the show, and it was just an honor.
Well, we appreciate you and appreciate the good work you're doing with Bill Taylor's Bushido School of Karate, and thank you for recently being a celebrity waiter.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've been coming to you from Bill Taylor's Bushido School of Karate, his Broad Street location in downtown Murfreesboro. Thank you for watching.